on the porch. I'm not staying sick. I'm not staying broke. I'm not staying oppressed. I'm not staying down and out. I'm not staying abused. I'm not staying ostracized. I'm not staying criticized. I'm coming out. And if you don't like it, you better like it, because it ain't gonna change. You don't have to remind us of where we come from. You don't have to remind us of where we come from. We know where we come from. You don't have to remind us that we had nothing. We know we had nothing. You don't have to remind us that we were poor and ugly. We know we were tore up from the floor up. The only thing we want you to do is remember where we were and see where we are now. And if you got a problem with that, ask God why he elevated me, because I had absolutely nothing to do with it. I was thinking about myself the way you was telling me that I was, until I met up with God and I found out that I ain't got to be broke. I ain't got to be ugly. I ain't got to be poor. I ain't got to be downtrodden. I can be lifted up. The clothes don't make the lady. It's the lady that makes the clothes. Before you could afford St. John knits, you used to sit there just like that in Simply Six. And when you wore those $6 clothes, folks thought that it came from a good store. Y'all ain't hearing what I'm saying. When you got swagger, you can take cheap stuff. When you got swagger, you can take Pick and Pay and make it look like Dolce & Gabbana. When you got swagger, you can go to Simply Six and make it look like Chanel. When you got swagger, you can take used hair and put it back in your head and it still looks natural. Look at your neighbor, say you gotta have something to work with. But when you're raggedy, you can have on a Russian sable and still look like junk. And I done seen it. I done seen it. I done seen folk who was trying to be something but didn't have the swagger to carry it. I was born to be rich. I was born to be successful. I was born to be happy. You gotta be a bad mamma jamma to be able to stand in a society like this and wear a pink suit and still pop it. Dorothy, I ain't staying on the porch. And folks are upset with you because you decided to move. I moved out of my old house into my new house. I was so mad with myself when I was in the old house that when I moved out, I didn't carry nothing. And since it had a spirit on it, I didn't give it to nobody. I carried it to the incinerator and I burned that stuff so that nobody would get that stuff on them. Newsflash, stop giving people your junk. Stop giving them your trash. If it ain't good enough for you to wear now, throw it in the trash can. Don't send your spirit to somebody else. Am I preaching in here today? Come off the porch. Come off the porch. Take up your bed. Tell the of your past. You tried to block me. You tried to stop me. You tried to hold me back. But I'm coming up. I'm coming up through the muck and the mire. Coming up through hard times. Coming up through situations. Coming up through principalities. Coming up through your lies. Coming up through your